So was the war in Ukraine really an unprovoked war? So did Russia just decided to wake up one day and attack Ukraine because they wanted regime change? Okay, let's listen to this interview from Colonel Gregor and what he's got to say about this.
Trying to push this narrative that this was an unprovoked attack versus a decade of building up and provoking Putin to the point where he felt like my only option is to create this buffer zone. And unfortunately, Ukraine has to become that buffer zone. Let's move on to Bakhmut for a minute. Russia says Bakhmut has fallen. Zelensky says, no, it hasn't. We still have soldiers in the area fighting. And until we run out of bodies, this area is not taken. How does the battle for Bakhmut show how military strategies and goals can change over time? And in your opinion, has Bakhmut fallen into the hands of Russia?
Okay, so before they move into Bakhmut, do you notice what he did say, the interviewer said? He basically said that he's referring to NATO, obviously. They were kind of pushing Russia to attack Ukraine, according to him. So what he believes is that NATO was basically expanding and surrendering Russia. And apparently this was the reason why Russia decided to attack. And there are some reports that also say that there is satellite images showing a large agglomeration of Ukrainian troops getting ready to attack Crimea. They even prepare medals and gallons for the retaking of Crimea. So apparently this wasn't part of the first and second peace agreements that they were signed in Minsk. And the Russians also say that this was one of the reasons why they decided to attack Ukraine. So they wanted to attack them first before the Ukrainians attack Russia. He also says, the interviewer, that Ukraine serves as a buffer zone, unfortunately, between superpowers, right? So you have NATO and then you have Russia, and in between there is Ukraine, which is used as a buffer zone by Russia, just to make sure they have enough time to respond to any attack from NATO, nuclear attack or whatever. So let's listen to what Colonel Gregor got to say about Bakhmut. Let's remember, Ukraine hasn't recognized yet that Bakhmut has fallen.
Well, Bakhmut, 90% of it has been in Russian hands now for months. It's only this small sliver of land on the very edge that remained in Ukrainian hands. And they occupied some concrete reinforced buildings, very large, sort of high-rise-like buildings. And the Russians were very reluctant to destroy them because they had information that there were Russian civilians in the basements. We have to understand that you're operating in a part of Ukraine where the population is really Russian. Now, they may have been Ukrainian citizens, but of course, Ukrainians treated them badly, didn't allow them to speak their language, have their schools, worship as they saw fit. They did not have equal rights before the law. They were an oppressed minority. And every time someone that was Russian would complain, look, I'm a Ukrainian citizen, I'm happy to do whatever, just give me my equal rights. They said, well, there's a country, it's called Russia. You can leave here and go there. So the Russians did not want to kill large numbers of Russian civilians in eastern Ukraine. That slows everything down. It has slowed everything down from the beginning. People don't get it. That's been a major constraint on the conduct of Russian military operations. Secondly,
so this is something that I was really looking for. The reason why the Russians did not attack discriminately Ukraine or eastern Ukraine, the reason why cities like Bakhmut, in the cities like Bakhmut, they carry out surgical attacks. And Colonel McGregor, he basically summarized this really well. And it's the first time I heard someone saying this, which is a very, very interesting detail, is that eastern Ukraine is full of Russian, which is a detail that I knew. But I didn't know that people did not evacuate. Or I thought everyone evacuated. So some people remain in the houses, in the basements. So obviously, if they use bombs in these buildings, they will be killing these people. And just like in some of the territories that they managed to occupy, take, retake, whatever you wanted to say, the population there, the Russians, are devoted to join the Russian Federation. So it wouldn't be on their benefit to bomb these people if they're thinking about incorporating them into Russia later on. So they always have to show that Russia wants to help them. So these are very important detail, which clearly explains why we didn't see Fallujah in Bakhmut, for example. I'll continue informing you.